it has to seem funny that you're seeing us sitting here at a barbershop, not in a branch, not in some type of banking institution, but I've always found for me the barbershop is this place where we have real conversations. And you know, one of the things that happened to me just about a month ago, I was sitting in the same barbershop with Rico was cutting my hair, and then all the fellas started asking me all these different financial advice. And you know, Rico was saying, you know, you guys, you need to take court on this. You really need to listen. So it seemed to me like this environment in of itself creates this kind of real moment. We can have a real conversation. You know, how many arguments do you get in a barbershop? You know, Jay, that's like part of being in a barbershop is arguing over
24/7 every day. We just got into one.
Yeah.
I still can't believe that you don't take MJ over LeBron. Come
Absolutely.
on, Rico.
MJ, 100%.
Don't be shy now to talk, Rico.
I'm just saying, it's just, that's my era.
I do.
That's my era. You do?
Okay,
so I'm
on a Jordan era too, though.
That's my era.
So I'll give you a credit union thing, right? So credit unions. You know, I've had an opportunity to work in a lot of companies and big companies, but you know, the thing I love about working at a credit union is effectively we're a not-for-profit cooperative, that our goal is to work for people, work for our members, work for the customers who are out there. So now some other banking institution could say, oh, well, we got better rates. Well, no, they don't. There's all this other hidden disclosure, but there's no forum to help point out what they said was wrong and hold them accountable to that.
Right. Here's something I find interesting, though, as a young black man when I was coming into the game, I was fortunate enough to have some like financial literacy conversations with my pops, right? Because he worked for Amex. But then almost in the same breath, and I don't know how you guys feel about this, I didn't have those conversations with my boys because it wasn't cool.
Talking about money?
Like, well, it was cool to talk about money and having millions of dollars and what you were going to buy with your money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't cool or accepted to talk about responsibility with money.
We have a whole department just built on financial literacy, where we go into the schools and we talk to kids about it, as well as to adults and other programs. I think if we can just generationally kind of talk about it. So right here, like for example, right now, us talking about it, saying, for example, credit score, it is important, right? Like people understand that getting your credit score, it affects you might not even be able to get insurance one day because you got bad credit. Like it's gonna be such a big determinant of what you're doing, but it also saves you money. So think about your friends. You ever had that friend who's like, man, I'm not gonna pay that bill. You know, what are they gonna do? How are they gonna collect it? Well, it doesn't matter. You're gonna pay it 3 times over because now your credit score is worse, and now you're going to a B or C tier, and now you're paying more for that same exact loan to buy that car. But I do think it's just being honest about money. You know, when you were younger, you had money. Were you ever comfortable saying, "Oh, I don't have money"? You know, I remember being in college being broke. Like ramen noodles was my staple. I drive this Nissan Murano. I love this car. I mean, this car is beautiful. You just rode with me in it. I could go drop this twice as much on the same car or a different car, step up in class or grade. But for me, it's the difference in buying the round of drinks at a bar or buying the bar. Like I'm about trying to save and put myself in a position of ownership. You know, people make fun of me because where I grew up, I always wanted to own my own little bodega. That's all I wanted, man. I wanted my own little corner grocery store. You know, Rico knows where we grew up. And so then my coach and my mentor goes, you know what, Ty, I think you need to think bigger. So I'm like, oh, you mean like a grocery store? He said, no, like bigger. So you know what I mean? But it's about perspective. So if you don't have those those people in your life that kind of help you change your vantage point, you know, maybe that's what this does. You know, maybe that's what the forum of filming this in a barbershop does. It just gets a discussion going so at home, parents can sit down with their kids and keep talking about this.
All these kids want to be elite athletes or they want to be some kind of rapper. Or something, so I usually take them to the process. It was something I had to go through too. That 17, my dad took me through. It's like, okay, you know, you want to be the first pick. What draft pick do you want to be? And every kid says they want to be the first pick in the draft, right? And you're like, all right, cool. Like you bring up a random kid, and you're like, all right, so you know, Joe Don, you're gonna be the first pick in the draft. Okay, what city are you gonna get drafted to? What's your favorite team? And he's like, oh, I want to get drafted to the Knicks. And you okay, awesome. I'm like, all right, so. You know, it's June 24th, you're the first pick in the draft, your mom's there, your dad's there, you know, Adam Silver gets up, he calls your name, John Doan, you know, with the first pick in the draft. You get up there, you shake his hand, you're getting drafted by the Knicks. All right, how much money are you making? And he's like, I'm like, but you want to be the first pick in the draft, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, how much money are you making? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, 3.475 million, right? Like, here's your accurate number. Okay, great. So, how long's your contract? 2 years? Nope. 3 years guaranteed. 4th year team option. What does that mean? Like you take them through all the questions, right? Like how much is your contract inflated by each year? Kid's like, inflation? I'm like, yeah, inflation. I don't know what that means. Like, you know, what percentage point is your contract going to go up this year? You know, from one year to another? I don't know, 11%. Okay, great. Then I take him through the process after we go through that, right? And kind of like, oh, so the kid starts to see how much money he has.
He's like, yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing it, right? Like 5 million my first year, I'm doing it.
I love inflation.
Right? Yeah, I love inflation. So I'm like, great, that's cool. All right, so your mom and dad are here for you, right? They've been taking care of you your whole life, right?
Yeah.
You said you just got drafted, right? So mom and dad are gonna come with you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. You're gonna get them a crib, right? Mom and dad, like, they sacrificed for you.
Yep.
But they paid for you. They put clothes on layaway. They taking care of all your hospital bills, your food. You never have to ask questions for anything. Like, where are you gonna get mom and dad? Like, oh, I'm gonna get them a house. How much are you gonna spend on their house? Kid's like, $1 million. I'm like, all right, cool. You're gonna get them a nice, like, 2-bedroom.
You're a good son.
And get them a nice 2-bedroom. Okay, you're a good son. Like, all right, like mom and dad drive a low-key car. But, you know, now they're the mother and father, the first pick in the draft. How you gonna let them roll around New York City? Like, what kind of car are you gonna get them? Kid's like, I don't know. Get them a Mercedes. I'm like, all right, so we're at 1.2 million. We'll go 100 grand per Mercedes. Okay, great. And I'm like, yo, where are you gonna live? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you ain't living with mom and dad no more. Like, you're a celebrity. You're a rock star. Like, where are you living? And he's like, I guess in New York City. I'm like, where? Like Tribeca, downtown? Where we? He's like, yeah, I want to live in the hottest spot. I'm like, how much you gonna spend in your crib? He's like, 1.5. I'm like, okay, we're at 2.7. Cool. I'm like, who's your favorite actress? He was like, Megan Good. I love Megan Good. Right? I'm like, all right. So you just met Megan Good. You just did Jimmy Fallon. You met Megan Good. You have to go pick her up because you got a date. What kind of car are you gonna drive? And the kid was like, oh man. I'm like, yo, you can't drive a Mercedes. Your mom and dad got a Mercedes. You got
to step your game up.
And he's like, a Bugatti. And I'm like,
yeah.
okay.
Cool. I heard this one, a Bugatti.
I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we're like at 3.3, right? So I'm like, hey, everywhere you go, everybody knows you. You can't get around anywhere, so you got to travel private. You can't travel commercial. You get annoyed going through the airports with your family. How much you gonna spend for private travel? He's like, I don't know, like 10 grand. I'm like, yo, 10 grand to give you a one-way to like, from like New York to Philly. I'm like, what are you gonna do, like 500 grand? So you keep tacking on all these little costs. Like, yo, you like jewelry, right? He's like, oh, I just want a really good watch. I'm like, a Rolex? Like a really good Rolex? Like a Daytona? He's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, that's 45 grand. So you start building up. I'm like, how much money do you spend? And the kid's like, 3.5. And then I asked everybody, okay, like, great. Who in here has heard of the word called tax?
Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam.
Right? So you start bringing all this stuff into the equation. You're like, all right, well, should never talk while that goes on. So then he's like, then I'm like, all right, so cool. How much you paying your agent? He's like, I gotta pay my agent. I'm like, yeah, your agent gets 4%. 4%. Oh, like how much you paying your accountant? Mm-hmm. Like you paying tax in every state that you play in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's take half that money away. So you're already over like $2.5–3 million in debt. And so when you're paying attention to your math class and you're zoning out thinking about going out shooting hoops, you want to be a millionaire, like look at math as you're looking at your money, your own bank account.
Yeah.
So I think it's about having those type of conversations with people that they're not even used to.
So I think just knowing right off the bat that ultimately that we're here for our members, we're here to provide the best deal, the best opportunity, should already put you in the best place. Then you can go use that in a negotiation if you want to go to another financial institution. At least you know you're leaving with the best benchmark you should have. Yeah. And unless they're going to beat that, then why are you talking to them about it, you know? I think also we're willing to educate you. I can't tell you how many times my staff have told someone, oh, that's a better deal, you should do this product. Oh yeah, you worried about this? Let's put you in that product. Not any product necessarily that makes us more money. They're often putting them in products that make us less money. And then I think finally you add the point on fees. Right now, we do all types of crazy promotions on things like the no closing cost promotion for mortgages. Mm-hmm. We could easily charge mortgages. People expect to be charged that. We're seeing a way to start you off earlier in a better financial position and just another way to differentiate ourselves against our peers because we don't have to still be profitable enough to continue our safe and soundness going forward.
Yeah, man, it's about caring. That's the biggest difference. In the credit union, I've worked in both. Worked in a bank, worked in a credit union. The majority of my life spent in the credit union.
Yep.
The banks are so cutthroat because they're so big and they don't feel like they can be touched. Whereas your community, you owe it to them. That's who we respond to. That's who we have to answer to, so to say, is our community.
I've done business with Vision.
Yeah.
And they take the time to like even get back to me and answer my questions.
Yeah.
You know, well, these other bigger banks, they won't even respond to you.
Name another CEO who texts you to ask you if you want them to bring you some food.
No, I know this CEO, my friend Ty. He didn't even text me to ask me.
No, yeah, that's true. So
he texted me and told me
when you're gonna get
bringing you some food.
Some
That's
chicken
CEO
and
stuff.
seafood.
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm gonna tell you what we're about to do.
So, talk about being like a personal relationship.
First and foremost, I want to thank Rico and letting us come in the barbershop. It's hard to have real talk sometimes. There's a busy lives, but he opened up the shop for us. One, so I could look a lot better than I looked when I came in.
Hey, Rico, thanks for helping him out, because that hairline was
Gotta go back to work tomorrow.
Well, I gotta go back to work tomorrow. He is follically challenged, so you made him look good. You made him TV worthy. But it's for me. It's just great to bring people into my shop. This is a place I go to get away, and at the same time also get reconnected. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
Where I'm away from the title, but I have the opportunity just to be another person sitting in a chair, listening to what's going on in the community, arguing about who the best basketball player is or who the best team is. But at the end of the day, Rico's for me a success story. He's an example of the all-American dream. He's cut my hair for a few years. He's cut Tim's hair barely since you had hair.
Yeah, 18 years.
So we love Rico, and I think this helps have a real dialogue. A real conversation.
Today was just like a regular day in the barbershop for me. This is what I do every day. People come in, we sit down, we talk. We talk about, like my man was saying, it's like nothing's off limits in the barbershop. If any of the young people or people in general could get anything out of this video, it's a lot of positive talk, and I know when I was growing up, I never had those conversations about money with my family and stuff like that, because I heard a lot that you can't, you know what I mean? So the conversations never came up, but you really can.
That's why we had a video in a barbershop, if you're wondering why. Taste.